Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning for the unveiling of the commemorative 2021 Governor's Derby Celebration poster and the exchange, which has been a tradition that goes back to the 1980s with the Kentucky Derby Festival. I'm Mike Berry. I'm Secretary of the Tourism, Arts, and Heritage Cabinet, and I am happy to be the MC for this morning's program. We're excited to be joined by Governor Beshear and First Lady Brittany Beshear, and the Kentucky Derby Festival and several of their guests and a number of others who all share our love and appreciation for art and all things Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Derby Festival. Since 1875, Kentucky has produced the most exciting 2 minutes in sports. And despite historical events like the Great Depression, World Wars I and II, and yes, the COVID pandemic, that tradition has continued. And while history may sometimes change the date of the Derby, here in Kentucky we always find unforgettable ways to celebrate. From horses, food, culture, fashion, even hot pink jackets, the Kentuckians everywhere know how to make sure that the Kentucky Derby is an unforgettable experience each year. Now, to celebrate the 147th running of the Derby, Governor Beshear and First Lady Brittany Beshear have selected an outstanding Kentucky artist to design this year's Derby celebration poster. For over 30 years, Kentucky governors have utilized the work of talented artists to portray the electric atmosphere of the Kentucky Derby through artwork that can be shared with the entire world. The Governor's Derby celebration poster is how the Commonwealth pays tribute to the most exciting 2 minutes. And today, it is my honor to welcome Governor Beshear as he shares Team Kentucky's first official Derby poster for all Kentuckians to enjoy. The Governor is a very strong advocate of both tourism and the arts industries, and we are proud to have his leadership paving the way to ensure that tourism, arts, and heritage continue to place us on a path for a better Kentucky. Please join me in welcoming Governor Andy Beshear, your 63rd Governor of Kentucky.
Things you can't separate from each other. Good morning, everyone. I am honored to be here today with our First Lady, our Tourism Secretary, Mike Berry, Kentucky Derby Festival officials, and the 2021 Derby Festival Royal Court as we celebrate this enormously important and thoroughly Kentucky sporting and cultural event, the 147th running of the Kentucky Derby. After a year of pandemic-fueled disruptions, we're gathered here today in the People's House, the Capitol Rotunda, and I'm looking forward to watching the Kentucky Derby in person at the track this year. This is what is possible through our successful rollout of safe and effective COVID-19 vaccines, where more than 1.6 million Kentuckians have now been vaccinated just 14 months after our very first case here in the Commonwealth. As you know, we have a challenge out there right now of 2.5 million Kentucky adults that once we get vaccinated, we're going to eliminate almost every restriction on any event under 1,000 people. If you have not gotten your shot of hope, please sign up to do so. This is the way we defeat this pandemic and get back to 100% capacity at the Kentucky Derby and all of its festivities next year. Thoroughbred racing is many things in Kentucky. It's sports, it's culture, it's business, it's even part of our heritage. It's also art. The beauty and strength of the athletes and the pomp and pageantry of the best-known horse race in the world has inspired artists for generations. I couldn't be happier to be taking part in this time-honored tradition of presenting a Governor's Celebration Derby poster. This year's artist for the Governor's Celebration Derby poster is Lennon Michalski. Lennon is an artist, activist, and author from Lexington, Kentucky, whose work has been featured in collections across the U.S. and has been shown internationally. Lennon's poster, which we're going to see here in just a minute, exemplifies the excitement and the enthusiasm that surrounds the greatest 2 minutes in sports. It also serves as a wonderfully vibrant and cherished memento of the race for the public. Lennon's poster portrays the Commonwealth's long-standing history of horse racing. He said he was inspired by a time that he attended the horse races with his young son. The excitement of watching from the rail and holding a winning ticket were his vision for the 2021 poster. With that, I'd like to have Lennon come up here and join the First Lady and me as we unveil his Governor's Celebration Derby poster. Which one are we? This one. Come on up. Awesome. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. All right.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
With that, I'll turn it back over to Secretary Barry, but Lennon, what beautiful work that will now be a part of our tradition, our history. For everybody that attends this Derby and watches it, a living memory that they can hang in their office, home, that makes sure that this race, especially this race coming out of this pandemic, that we remember for years to come. Thank you so much.
Since 1956, the Kentucky Derby Festival has been serving not only the community of Greater Louisville and Southern Indiana, but also the entire Commonwealth and the nation through many produced events that in normal years exceed 70 events. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you their president and CEO of the Kentucky Derby Festival, Matt Gibson. Matt is a longtime employee of the festival, and since October 1st, 2019, has been leading them. And leading them he has had to do during these last couple of years as yesterday's problems became today's solutions and became tomorrow's challenges again. Matt?
Thank you very much, Secretary Barry. It was a passing of the torch where actually Secretary Barry handed me that torch as I am his predecessor, and he handed it to me and said, take care of this organization, and we've been doing everything since to do so. There were a couple things that Governor Beshear said today that really stuck with me. One, thoroughly Kentucky. I'm going to steal that from you because that's fantastic. And he said, coming out of the pandemic. We certainly look forward to getting through this entire mission that you've led so very well, and we appreciate you and your team for that. Thanks for having us here today. We are honored to be here, especially during this very thoroughly Kentucky time. This past year has meant a lot to everybody, and that's what we really made sure our festival was about, getting to some sort of normalcy, making sure we're getting the message out about vaccines, being responsible, doing everything in that very safe space that's so important. And after all we've been through, it was so important for the Derby Festival that we find new ways to bring our festival to the community. It's been through a lot of discussion with state, federal, local leaders to make sure that we were doing that, and we adjusted the entire way to make sure that we continued down that mission. One of the things that I say a lot is that the plans are never final until the event is over, and we constantly look at those ways to evolve, even up until the day before, when just to make sure that we're still doing it responsibly. It's been our mission since Mike handed this fantastic organization to me back in October 2019. What a great way to or a great time to take over a mass gathering company. Folks would often lament, oh my goodness, Matt, you've been handed something in one of the most challenging times in our history, but I often say, well, at least I wasn't handed the goal that was handed to Governor Beshear, you have done so very well. And it was our goal to make sure to give folks something to look forward to and to bring back that joy and the smiles that we're so used to seeing every spring. Our crowds normally will rise to 1.5 million plus, and we couldn't be doing that, and we couldn't do it safely, so we evolved very quickly. While our events are different this year, just being able to do something gives us hope, and we've seen that in the faces and the smiles and the celebration of all of those around us, and we know it's a great sign of good things to come. One of the first signs of Derby Festival every single year is the official Derby Festival poster. This year, that poster was created by our official poster artist, Andy Perez of Louisville. He has been a pleasure to work with, and it's amazing to see what he does in his style of artwork. Originally from Kentuckiana, our Andy, because you have to make that separation, has had a passion for art since he was in elementary school. He received his Bachelor of Fine Arts from Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design, and his career as a visual artist, illustrator, and graphic designer took him to San Antonio, Nashville, before moving back to home in Kentucky and to Louisville with his family. Known for his collage and mixed media artwork, his art has been featured in publications, galleries, commercials across the country and internationally. We couldn't be more proud to have him on our team. More than just a poster, this year's image is very unique of how it all came together. Sprinkled throughout the design are pieces from previous Derby Festival posters, and we mean that literally. He took them apart and used them in the art medium. It's his way to honor and celebrate traditions of the past as we create something new for the future, and isn't that the theme that everybody's working on? We've learned so much about ourselves during this time. We can't thank Andy Perez enough for his creating such a beautiful piece for us. It's called Going Up was the original piece, and this is actually the limited edition that we're sharing today. It was inspired by the iconic image of the festival's Pegasus and events and things throughout our festival history. I'd like to ask Andy Perez and Judy Hess, our 2021 Derby Festival Chair, to come up and help unveil it. Perfect. The festival's Pegasus icon, and you guys can go ahead and unveil, has always symbolized magic, energy, and excitement. We think this year's poster captures that spirit so well, as does our chair, Judy Hess. She's the first in our history to actually serve 2 years with what we called the pandemic pause, and has continued to do so wisely. She's been a wonderful guide for me, and I couldn't ask for a better chairman of the organization. Judy, if you could take over and have the special presentation that you'd like to make.
Okay. Glasses on. Thank you, Matt. Seems like I've spent 4 weeks saying thank you, Matt. As Matt said, it's an honor to be here. Thank you, Governor and First Lady and Secretary Barry, for hosting us. Oops, you could hear me a little bit better this way. One of our favorite Derby Festival traditions each year is when the entire festival board, all 75 of these pink jackets, caravan to Frankfurt for a special luncheon with the governor right before the festival gets underway. It signals our start to the festival season. With so many of us, it's a pretty long caravan, and you can't miss us when we all gather in our jackets. We haven't been able to have our luncheon with Governor Beshear and the First Lady yet, but we look forward to being able to do that again soon. I would be remiss, Governor, if 74 other board members might say, did you tell him how special it is? They are all waiting to come back again. And we're pretty agile and flexible, so once you turn on the green light, if you got 75 more seats at the table, we'll be here. So, even the governor gets his own festival jacket, which I'm sure you're looking forward to wearing. Oh, good. In addition to the festival jacket, over the years, we have shared another special symbol of spring in Kentucky with the governor and First Lady, and that's the Pegasus pin. These pins are just another way to share the Derby Festival spirit that we've all missed this year. We have limited edition Pegasus pins and chairman's pins for you both. little. I gotta get my mask back on. There's just too much for an old lady to do. You know? There we go. Mask on.
Amen. Amen.
I just spent my life out upside down.
I say that's where I get most of my steps in a day.
Sure. These are very special to us, as you can.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yes, and we look forward to having that lunch.
I'll be there.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. The bottom, these are the children's.
Oh, okay.
And because it's been for 2 years, there's 2 kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt and Judy. We have the royal court with us today, and we need to meet them personally. We have with us Queen Gia Combs. If you'll stand up. They have the wave down. They had a parade, 2-day parade last weekend. Princess Hannah Edelin, Princess Leah Hazelwood, and Princess Hannah Robb. Princess Molly Jett could not be with us because she is actually employed by the media and they made her work today. On behalf of all of us here at Team Kentucky, we want to thank you for joining today's ceremony. The talented work of both of these artists, Lennon and Andy, are truly amazing, and we are honored that they're willing to share this talent and love of our Commonwealth with us. For those watching at home, we encourage you to continue to support the arts and purchase your Derby Festival and Derby poster online today. For more information, follow the Tourism, Arts, and Heritage Cabinet on Facebook and Twitter. And if you go to tah.ky.gov, you will be taken to a link that will enable you to purchase Lennon's Governor's Derby poster. And if you go to kdf.org or 1213apparel.com, you can go to a link where you can purchase the Kentucky Derby Festival poster. Now, at this time, I would like to ask the Governor, Mrs. Beshear, Lennon, Andy, and the Royal Court if they would gather around the table, and the Governor is going to sign some some posters. Again, thank you all today for joining us. We're going to get some set media shots now. Thank you.